Alright, hello again for another lunch break hobby time. My name is Jeremy, and today I'm going to continue blocking in some color on Stave here from Guild Ball, the Brewers team, and then from my 3D printed Biker Fanatic from One Page Rules. Yesterday I was able to go ahead and block out a little bit of pink, some Reaper Tendril Pink, and a little bit of Reaper Suntan Flesh on both of them. Today, let's see, I haven't really decided what I'm going to start with, so as just for some bottom layers, I think I'll go ahead and start with something that's going to be only for Stave, and that's using some Reaper Elven Green to get kind of his little bit of the pants under there, that I can see his uniform pants and his beret. Go ahead and start by shaking that up a little bit. Put a little on my wet palette. Alright, I brought some brushes I'm more familiar with from home. So now I'll be using a Royal and Langnickel Moderna size 3 I got at Hobby Lobby. So let's get that a little watered down a little bit. Alright, the goal is to be... I keep hitting my microphone today apparently. See if I can get... let's see, it's kind of hard to get to his pants because of his barrels. And you try to give it a little bit. It's not super visible, so it may not be the end of the world. He doesn't actually have a whole lot of pants showing as compared to some of his teammates. He's got a lot more leathers wrapped around there. Mostly I just wanted a secondary color to kind of break things up from what'll be the yellow. And just for, you know, that team uniform, you know, continuity. So everyone can tell they're on the same team. And again, I'm shooting for a little bit of a Green Bay Packers vibe. Not the exact colors, but at least kind of people may be able to see it and kind of reminisce. Or at least be reminded of them. Let's move that microphone a little. Keep bumping it with this a little bit longer brush. So I'm going over this green, give him a little bit of a colored gray. Alright. Again, not a lot of color on him, but it's a place to continue and give some contrast once the yellow is actually applied. Alright. After that, I was thinking about going into a bit more of the leathers, since something both of them will have. Because I know I want to make her gloves kind of leathered. I haven't decided if I want everything to be leather, like the whole outfit or not. Not really sure how I wanted to go with it, since she's got kind of a layered look here to the boots, as well as this kind of like almost tunic top. I don't want to make it stand out too much because again she's got bright pink hair, and the bike's going to be blue. Since I haven't decided too much, maybe I'll just start painting the bike here in a bit. Because when in doubt, dive in. Right? Might as well dive into something a little bit bigger and get all the green out of my brush. Alright. Since the bike's a little bigger, I'll go with a little bit larger brush too. Go with the size 4 Royal and Langnickel. This one I think is from Walmart. And this Probably needs well shaken. Kraken blue. Little offset color. It's ultramarine blue from Army Painter. So we'll give Stave a break with his green to dry. Let's see. Is it clogged? It might just be. There we go. Got that clog worked out. Let's see. There's a lot of bike here, so I know it's, if I get going, it's not that big of a deal if we get a little offset. I also don't know if I'm going to stick with this exact shade of blue or not. It's just the one I had grabbed when I stocked up my office setup. So for now, let's just apply. And start applying a bit of blue to everything, and we'll go from there. No, I'm not getting the best coverage with this that I wanted, and I haven't really used this blue shade too much. Maybe just didn't shake it enough, or maybe it just needs a few more layers. Guess I shouldn't be too worried about coloring outside the lines just yet. So I'm just trying to block in, get the overall bike frame color kind of established. Because I can always make it look a bit more battle damaged. Maybe some thoughts, maybe trying to figure out a way to kind of give it a graffitied look, make it look just a little messy. Again, with kind of the style of this mini, it's not that big of a deal one way or the other. So, if she looks messy, she looks messy, and it probably gives it more character. I know right now this particular shade of blue is a little light. See if maybe a few more layers will help that out, but right now she's looking a little too clean. Let me see if it's just needs some better shake. Let's do this a little closer. Otherwise, I think I'll just bring a different blue from home. So now I've got some Drakenhof Night shade paint that I know I want to use for some shadowing. Alright. Okay, that's looking a little better. Still need to give it a bit more time to dry. And we'll come back in a minute and see if everything's looking good or not. Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because I knew it wasn't dry all the way yet, but I wanted to make sure that the blue was going to darken up just a little bit. And it seemed to. So. Yeah, let's see. What should we do for Stave next? Go a bit into his leathers. I haven't quite decided, because you know he's got these leather straps around his legs and his booties with some leather wrapping there. I know I'll probably use a bit lighter color on some of the straps there, and a little bit dark color for the main boots. I don't know, I've used Wyvern leather a little bit when it came in my set, and I like it quite a bit. It's kind of a darker, warmer brown than my other leather color I've got, which is an army painter. It's a bit warmer and redder. Okay. Usually this warm leather color is a nice way to offset the yellow. And that kind of, since this brown's kind of got a bit of more red in it, in my opinion, that accents really well with the green as well. Okay, some leather coverage there. So we'll go over the boots as well. Alright, got his boots, his straps there. Next need to work on his belt a little bit. It's got his belt, since it's got these little knobs for holding his spare kegs, creates a little bit of an interest there of what other colors to make it. Since I'm not real sure. Oop. Made a little mistake, let's wipe it off with our finger. See, again, it's a big fella with a big belt. Need to get a bit better at using kind of dapping on color. With stippling, that's the term I was looking for. Because I've seen a lot of good results come out of stippling. But I know I don't necessarily have the best coordination for it just yet. And that probably also has to do with the brushes. You need a good, stiff brush to really make it work. I'm going to also give putting some leather color on its belt buckle. I'm going to go over that probably later with kind of a coppery gold color. I guess I could go ahead and make the barrels brown too if I wanted to. I'll just cover them up with a different shade later. For now, let's also go over his leather bracers on his wrists. His color's really coming along nicely. Do I want to go ahead and... I'm not so sure if I want to make the barrels this, you can block them out in the same brown, but I guess that's simpler, because it's easier to lighten them up later. If I decide to use more, I'm thinking kind of mixing maybe a little bit of the flump pink with it. Actually, might as well go ahead and do that now. Mix a little bit of this flump pink. Also note it's also Barbarian flesh from Army Painter. See if I can coarse it out. It's kind of a pinker color. Mix a little bit of that with my Wyvern leather. We'll see how that works. I think I want to also add just a smidge of yellow. Use an addition. So I'll bust out this other brush. It's probably one of the cheaper brushes I own. Just got it on Amazon. I was looking to just get some free shipping, so I added a set of $4 brushes. And they were, yep, $4 worth of brushes from Amazon. Alright, so I mixed a little bit of Averland Sunset with Wyvern leather with Barbarian flesh to get my own custom mix of kind of a light brown, this wooden color I wanted for my barrels. Not bad. Yellow to stay out. I should have put some on my palette probably. That was my mistake for leaving it cooped up in the bottle. And hopefully the differences in shade here will all come out with a wash. Should have mixed that color up a larger batch before I started rubbing it on. I'll try my best not to make that mistake again. Not a second coat will fix everything. Oh, right now these kind of have a nice orangey hue to them. Not sure if I like that or not. So no, I was going for a different. I wanted the wood to look nice and discernibly different from the leather. Let's add a bit more leather to it though, so it's kind of a little bit darker. Oh, we can always say each of these barrels is different aged. Guess I could have also looked up and kind of got a better feel for what, since typically they do oak barrels. for stuff like this. Could have got a better feel for what color that should have been, but oh well. So these initial ones are a lot darker. Let's see if I can mix that up a bit more. There. Let's give them a second coat. Let them look a little lighter themselves. Okay, even everybody up to the same position. Oh, I guess I gotta go ahead and do the shoulder pads too. These little shoulder pauldrons is the word, I think. Go ahead and go over the metal that will get coated later. Just try to keep that in frame might help. Alright. Starting to even out there. Let's return back and go ahead and give him his second coat of green on his pants, the little snippet of pants and hat he's got. It's not very visible, so I don't have to worry about it too much, I suppose. Oh, now that I think about it, I guess I should probably make these lower pants that color. That makes more sense. Treat them like actual pants and not like just some leg warmers. That'd be silly if he was wearing leg warmers out there. I'm sure in this fictional kind of UK environment, leg warmers might be good on a cold, rainy day of footballing, but alright. Pacing's coming along. Might as well return to our bike for a bit. Don't want to make this all about Stave, though Guildfall always has a special place in my heart. probably come back with maybe a different shade of blue, because this one, I'm just not having a lot of luck with this Army Painter blue. Just isn't turning out the way I wanted it to. Excuse me, Stave. I mean, I know I like the idea of the blue. And also with like pink hair, and I'll probably go over her robes like a darker color. But the blue itself just isn't really coming out perfect. And I don't know if it... Because you know, I've always heard certain things about Army Painter, sometimes being a little bit thinner. I don't know if it's not well shaken or stirred. Because I don't want to have to just glob it on, but may just kind of have to. There, it's finally starting to get a bit better. Maybe I just had to keep mixing to get it just right. Because now I've always had a bit better luck with my Reaper paints and that consistency than the Army Painters. Some of that may just be just what I'm accustomed to, though. Preference. Because I've mostly used my Vallejo and my Reapers more than my Army Painter. But at least with this, I have the added benefit of, given the kind of setting and style I'm shooting for here, if it looks a little rough, that's okay. It's a little messy on a post-apocalyptic biker fanatic is okay. Oh god, that blue got a little out of control up there, didn't it? Ugh. Well, I'll have to pick it back up later. Is there anything else I want? I guess a few. Maybe give a last bit of secondary coats to Stave, and call it done. So let's see. Need a bit more leather. Add some more since I hijacked some of it to mix up my wood brown. especially here around his throwing arm. I was worried about making the leathers and the wood too similar. That, and especially until I start lightening up his skin with some highlights, it all just looks kind of this way too close together in the same browns. At least the leather that I've chosen is a bit more red, and I add some yellow to the wood tones. Alright, now I just got to touch up his little leg strappies. Okay. Let's see. Go over his barrels. At least slightly, because these are gonna probably get some other tones in there. Especially since I tried to mix up my own color. I like it enough, but it'll make it really hard to match if I need to on anyone else. And a good wash will probably even it all out anyway. Now for his shoulder pauldrons. Always, if you're mixing colors, mix up a whole lot, because you start running out and it gets hard to color match later, which I know will be an issue here unless I just change it up. Okay. Last but not least, let's give one final bit of green to what I initially was thinking of as leg warmers. Excellent. A few spots don't need touch-ups, but again, since I wasn't too worried about getting a little bit on the pink, since it's going to get covered up with yellow anyway. He's awfully brown now. Hopefully that yellow will really brighten things up. In fact, let's just get a quick little preview of that. With some Averland. Because when you're rolling, you don't always want to stop. Oop, get a little bit yellow on there, but that's easy enough to clean up. Oh, still got some in the front. Oh, very nice. Let's see. Try to get my focus. There we go. That'll look nice. Alright. Well, that's definitely the end of my lunch break, so once again, thank you all for joining me. My name is Jeremy, and this has been Lunch Break Hobby Time.